The ragged man said he'd take 5 Mercedes trucks. They laughed. But it was their biggest mistake. The dealership was bustling that morning. Shiny Mercedes trucks lined up, eager salesmen polishing doors and practicing their charm. Then he walked in, clothes torn, shoes covered in dust, and a weathered hat hiding his face. The room fell silent. A few salesmen exchanged smirks. Others turned away, pretending to check their phones. "Can I help you?" One finally asked with fake politeness. The man smiled faintly and said, "I'll take 5 of those trucks." A burst of laughter echoed through the hall. "Sure, and I'll take 5 planes," one joked. But when the ragged man pulled out a thick envelope and placed it on the counter, the laughter froze. What happened next not only humbled the entire dealership but became the most unforgettable lesson about judging people by appearances. It was just another bright morning at the Mercedes dealership in Austin. The sales team was preparing for a big day. A government official was supposed to visit, so everyone was on their best behavior. But before the official arrived, a dusty old pickup stopped outside the glass doors. Out stepped a man in his late 50s, wearing a torn jacket, faded jeans, and boots that had clearly seen better days. His beard was uneven and his hat looked like it had been rescued from a storm. He walked straight up to the front desk. "Morning," he said softly. "I need 5 Mercedes Actros trucks." The receptionist blinked. "5 trucks?" she repeated, thinking she misheard. "Yes, ma'am," the man said. "5, I'm starting a new freight company." One of the younger salesmen, Ryan, overheard and burst into laughter. "Sir," he said mockingly, "those trucks cost over $120,000 each. Maybe you'd like to look at one first?" The man nodded. "Sure," he said calmly, "let's look." Ryan led him outside, smirking the entire time. Other employees whispered behind his back. "He probably wants a free test ride," one said. "Maybe he's lost," but the ragged man was calm. He inspected each truck carefully, checking the tires, the engine, even crawling under one to look at the chassis. The laughter continued behind him. Finally, he stood up, dusted off his jacket, and said, "All right, I'll take these 5. Ryan chuckled again. "Do you even know how much that'll cost?" The man reached into his old, worn-out bag and pulled out a thick brown envelope. "I think this should cover the down payment," he said, handing it over. Ryan rolled his eyes but opened the envelope and froze. Inside were bundles of cash. Fresh, crisp $100 bills. The laughter stopped completely. The manager, Mr. Harrison, rushed over, confused. "What's going on here?" he asked. Ryan stammered, He says he wants to buy 5 trucks. Paid in cash." Mr. Harrison looked at the man, then at the envelope. He quickly counted. "That's $600,000. In cash." The ragged man nodded. "That's just the start. I'll transfer the rest once you confirm the paperwork." The dealership fell silent. The same employees who were whispering now stood frozen, realizing who they were dealing with. "Sir," Mr. Harrison said carefully, "may I ask your name?" The man smiled. "My name's Walter Brooks. I run Brooks Hauling and Construction. We're reopening a major highway project down in Dallas. I need these trucks by next week." Ryan's jaw dropped. Brooks Hauling? That was one of the biggest local companies in the state before it went quiet for a few years. Rumor had it the owner retired early after a huge contract. "I've been traveling a lot," Walter continued. "Didn't see the point in fancy clothes when I'm out in the dirt most of the day. But I like my trucks clean." The room was dead silent. The same men who laughed were now red-faced and silent. Ryan tried to apologize, but Walter held up his hand. "No need," he said calmly. "I understand. People judge by what they see. But sometimes, what's underneath the dust is worth a lot more than you think." Mr. Harrison personally handled the deal. Within an hour, all 5 trucks were marked sold. Walter even gave an extra $10,000 tip to the mechanic who helped check the engines before leaving. He turned to Ryan and said, "Son, remember this, never underestimate someone who looks poor. You might just lose your richest customer." Word spread like wildfire. By the end of the week, the story was everywhere. Ragged man buys 5 Mercedes trucks in cash. The dealership's manager called a team meeting the next morning. "Let this be a reminder," he said sternly. "We sell luxury, but we should never sell our humanity." Ryan couldn't sleep that night. The shame of his arrogance weighed heavily. He found Walter's business address and drove down to the construction site. Walter was there, wearing the same dusty jacket, hands covered in grease as he worked beside his men. "Sir," Ryan said quietly, "I wanted to apologize. I judged you and I was wrong." Walter smiled. "Apology accepted. Just remember, wealth isn't always in your clothes or your car. Sometimes it's in how you treat people." Ryan nodded. That day, he vowed never to mock or assume again. Over the months, he built a reputation as one of the dealership's most respectful salesmen, and interestingly, Walter returned 6 months later to buy 10 more trucks. This time, No one laughed. They stood and greeted him with genuine smiles, coffee, and respect. Walter left them with one final line that echoed long after he drove away. Kindness is the most expensive thing, but the richest people give it for free.